Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing good. I welcome you to Benju's Education, and our today's topic of discussion is the digital SAT for international students. Now in this video what we will be doing is we will be understanding the digital SAT, what are the changes that are happening in the SAT exam. If now from 2023 March onwards, the SAT for international students, that is for students who are living outside United States and Puerto Rico, have to take the digital SAT. Now there will be no more pen and paper SAT which used to happen before. The entire SAT is now going online. So what are the changes? What will be the paper pattern? What is the marking scheme? How can you take the exam? What all applications you have to download? How can you take the mock? How can you prepare for the exam? So we'll be discussing all those things in this video. If this video becomes too long, or if this video becomes too informative, then what I'll do is I'm gonna divide this video into like couple of, or I'm gonna divide this piece of information into like couple of videos. Like probably what we can do is we can have a separate video on how we can use the blue book, which is the app that you need to download if you want to take the mock test, SAT official mock test. Or if you even want to take the exam, then also you need to have that app. Okay. So we'll try to understand each and every parameter about the digital SAT in this video, and let's see how it goes. And then depending upon the length of the video, I'll think of whether I have to make another one, or probably I'll explain you regarding the blue book in this one itself. Right. All right, guys, let's move ahead with the digital SAT for international students. This is not about students who are planning to take the SAT in US, because for US students, the SAT is going to go online from 2024, not from 2023. All right. All right, guys, let's get started. Let's understand each and everything from the scratch about the digital SAT. Okay. So as I've already told you, so from the beginning of 2023, SAT for international students is going online. So students who are taking SAT outside US and Puerto Rico will have to take the online version of the exam. Okay. So the actual question is, are there going to be any changes? Is the paper pattern the same? Is the marking scheme still the same? Are there going to be again four sections? So there are like a lot of questions which are to be answered, right? So we're going to answer each and every question for you so that you understand. All right, let's start. Okay, let's start with the paper pattern first. So what will be the format of the pattern? Now, the most important thing that since I've gone through the entire document given by the college board, the most important thing you need to understand here is that whether you talk about English or whether you talk about maths, now the paper will be again, you're gonna have like two sections. Now earlier what used to happen, in case of English, in case of English we used to have a reading and a writing section, and then in case of a maths we used to have a no calculator and a calculator section, right? This is basically what we used to have. The reading section, which was, then it was followed by the writing part. The writing part was for 35 minutes, the reading part was for 65 minutes, so that's like almost exactly 100 minutes for the English part. And then the maths part, 25 minutes for the no calculator section, and then you will be having 55 minutes for the calculator section. This was the paper pattern for the previous SAT. Now we don't have to discuss that anymore because that's now December is already done. So from 2023, we're going to have the digital SAT. Now, what's going to happen in the digital SAT is that you will again have two sections. So you're going to have two sections for English followed by two sections of maths. But the most important thing which you guys need to understand is that now SAT is basically an adaptive test. You have a two-stage adaptive test design for both the sections, maths as well as for English. Now, what do you mean by the term adaptive? And this is really very important for you to understand. This is the word that, or this is how we used to actually describe the GRE exam. Now, most of you would not be aware of the GRE. GRE exam is usually taken by students who are applying for their post graduation in the technical field, or who want to apply for their PhDs. It's basically like an exam, like you gave SAT, so graduate students gave GRE. Okay. So what do you mean by adaptive is that adaptive basically means that depending upon how do you perform in your first section, the difficulty level of the second section will be decided. I'm going to repeat myself again. depending upon how much do you score or how do you perform in the first section, the difficulty level of the second section will be decided. For example, let's say suppose there are two people A and B, and let's say the first section of the English part, it consists of, like, let's suppose 25 questions. First person goes and attempts like 12 questions correctly. The second person goes and attempts, let's suppose, 22 questions correctly. Now, what's going to happen for these two is that for person A, the next section on English will be on the easier side. Like, it will be an easier section because it's adaptive. It's adapting to the way A is answering, or how much it's basically adapting to A's capability by judging that he's only able to score like 12 questions correctly. But on the other hand, B will get a difficult section. But on the other hand, B will get a difficult section. This is the most important part you need to understand. Now, if you're gonna get an easier section, now what I'm going to say in the next couple of minutes, this is not mentioned anywhere on college boards. Whatever I'm saying, this is completely based upon my understanding of the term adaptive and my experience on teaching of GRE. Okay, so whatever I'm gonna say in the next 2 minutes is, it has nothing to do with what is written on the college board website. So what I feel that if you're gonna score like 12 questions correctly in the first section, thereby getting an easier section in the next one, what's gonna happen is you will have a very high probability of scoring less marks. Like, let's say suppose you got 12 in the first one, and let's suppose you scored like 20 questions correct in the second one. So out of 800, because again the marking is on the scale of 200 to 800, the marking scale has not been changed, you can expect somewhere around like 500 to 520 marks. That's it, nothing more than this. Now again, this is based on my experience. You may have plus minus 10 or 20, but this is where you should be lying depending upon the scores, how SAT marking has been done for previous couple of years. So if you're not scoring good in the first section, I believe I can use this term, the concept of threshold marks. So someone scoring 12 in the first section, your threshold should be around like 550, 560 marks out of 800. Out of 800. That means even if you score a good number of questions in the next section, since the next section is on the easier side, you will not get good marks. So they're not saying that you're gonna have like two sections. They're saying that you're gonna have two adaptive sections. That's the term that is really important for you to understand. Although they're adapting to the way that you are answering, they're adapting, they're actually trying to understand how many questions or what difficulty level questions you're able to answer and what difficulty level questions you're unable to answer. But yes, you got to read in between the lines, right? There is actually a purpose why they are doing this adaptive test design. Okay. But if someone scores like 22 or 23 questions correctly, he or she will definitely get a difficult section in the next one. But that means if they score like 20, 22 questions correctly, so they have a very good chance of scoring around 750 out of 800. They have a very good chance of scoring around 750 out of 800. This is the meaning of the term adaptive, which you all need to understand. This is very, very, very important. So first section, which will be like uh, analyzing section, or the section based upon which you will get the next section. The first section, I feel that that will be on the similar lines for each and every student, where they will be judging you, and depending upon the number of questions you're going to solve correctly, you will get your second section. This is the most important thing about the digital SAT that you guys need to understand. This is really very important. Okay, now again, as I've already told you, this is completely based upon my understanding and my teaching. Okay, so of GRE and other aptitude exams. So this is what is meant by the term adaptive. They have not mentioned anything like this anywhere on the college board. So I hope you understand. Okay. Anyways, let's move on. Next thing they say is that you're gonna have like 25 questions in each of the sections, and you're gonna have like two sections as far as the English part is concerned. In case of the maths part, you're gonna get like 20 questions, and again you're gonna have like two sections. The duration is 32 minutes for each of the sections in English part, and duration is 35 minutes for each of the sections in the maths part. Now, type of questions. So, type of questions in case of English, it's all MCQ, a question followed by four answer choices. You have to pick the one of them and you have to move on. That's it. In case of maths, if we talk about the previous pattern of the exam, we used to have two types of question. One was the MCQ, another was the gradient type question, right? So MCQ is like you're gonna have like four answer choices, pick one and then move on. In case of gradient, everyone knows what a gradient is. So what's gonna happen in place of four options, what they will do is they're gonna give you a box something like this. In this box, you're gonna have like four columns, and below the first row you're going to have some symbols. You can have decimals, and you're going to have like numbers 0 1 up till 9 for each of the column. 0 1 up till 9, 0 1 up till 9. So what happens in case of a gradient, this is like filling an OMR sheet. I hope most of you would have done that for your International Mathematics Olympiad or National Science Olympiad. So let's suppose you solve a question, you get your answer as 31 by 3. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna do 31/3. Now this is what we used to do when we used to have an OMR sheet. Now since it's everything is going digital, so you don't have to do this. What will happen is, so in case of your digital SAT, you're gonna get a box, and below this box, there will be a tablet sort of a thing which will be given to you, and in that tablet you're gonna have numbers and dashes and decimal. Let's suppose you get your answer as 31 by 3. So click 3, you'll see 3 on the left hand side. Then click 1, you'll get 1. Then click slash, you'll get slash, and then click 3, you'll get 3. So this is something that we will be discussing when I'm going to explain you what the Blue Book app is and how can you use that Blue Book app and how you are supposed to answer on that Blue Book app. Okay, we're going to discuss all these things in detail. As of now, we are simply discussing the paper pattern, and that's it. In the English type, you're going to have like four only MCQ questions. In case of maths, you're going to have MCQ as well as the gradient questions. Right. So topic, as far as the syllabus is concerned, we will be discussing regarding the syllabus part also. That there have been some minute changes, although there have been a lot of changes as far as the question types are concerned. Okay, so I would actually suggest you to watch the other videos also, which I will be uploading for the SAT apart from the paper part, and I will be uploading regarding the how can you take the SAT, regarding the Blue Book app, what is the course structure, what are the types of questions that you can expect in the exam. Okay, so we will be discussing all those things. Okay, so stay tuned and please do subscribe to the channel if you're new to this channel, or if you haven't subscribed, please do that so that you get the regular updates. Okay, all right, let's move on guys then. So how can you take the digital SAT exam? Now, the interesting part about the digital SAT is that you can take the digital SAT exam wherever you want to take. Yeah, that's right. You have heard me right. You can take the digital SAT exam wherever you want to take. You want to take it at a center, you can book your slot and you can go and you can take it at the center. You want to take it at your own home, you can do that also. You want to take it on your iPad, you can do that also. You want to carry your iPad to the testing station and then take the exam from the testing station, you can do that also. And most interesting part is that, let's suppose you don't have a laptop, you don't have a tablet, you still don't want to go to the center to take the exam, then you can pre-book your tablet. That tablet will be delivered to you at your place, and then also you can take the exam. So there are like numerous ways in which you can take the digital SAT exam. That is completely your call which way you want to do it. So if you feel that no, you are much more comfortable while taking it at home, then please go ahead, not a problem. Just ensure that your internet connection is stable, or frankly speaking, that is also not even a requirement. I'm going to explain it to you why. Okay, now the digital SAT exam, can be taken only on the Blue Book app. This can be taken only on the Blue Book app. And this app can be downloaded from the College Board website. Now, how can you download this app, and how can you register yourself, and how can you take the mock test, how you're supposed to evaluate yourself, all those things we will be discussing in detail. Don't worry about this. I'm going to explain you each and everything. Now, this Blue Book app is perfectly compatible with Windows as well as the Mac OS, that is the Apple's operating system. So it's perfectly compatible for both these softwares. You don't have to worry about it. I have used it in both of them. So the Bluebook app works completely fine. Okay. Now, just to give you a little bit more insight, this Bluebook app is basically it's like it's a sort of a modified version or an upgraded version of uh, the AP exam software that College Board used to use, or it basically still uses while conducting the AP exams. Okay, it's like a modified version of the AP exams software program, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so this is basically now how do you download all those things. We're going to discuss those things in detail, so don't worry about that. Let's move on forward. Okay, now what's the plus point of digital city? Now this is the best part about the digital city. This is actually the best part about the digital city. The two questions that usually pops up is whenever you take an exam online is that the one question which generally comes to everyone's mind is that what if my internet connection drops, or what if the center's internet connection drops, because everything is on the internet, right? So if your internet connection drops, probably your test is going to pause, your test is going to stop, something or the other is going to happen. And the second question, let's suppose someone says, no, I have a very good internet connection, there is no possibility that my internet connection is going to drop. The second question that pops up is that what if my system runs out of power? What if I don't have electricity at my place? Now, the best part about this Blue Book app, the best part about this Blue Book app is that if your internet connection drops, let's suppose your test pauses on itself, or your screen has been frozen, it's not moving on further, your test has been stopped, application has been suddenly closed, or if your system runs out of power, there is no electricity at your place, the best part about this Blue Book app is that it will pause your exam exactly where it was. This is the best part about this app. College Board has taken these two important questions into consideration. Let's suppose you're in the middle of the math section, in the middle of the whichever math section you are. Let's suppose the clock shows like 15.08 minutes left, and suddenly there is an electricity crisis at your place. The electricity goes off, or let's suppose your internet goes off for whatever reason it is. Now whenever you're going to resume your test, probably in a minute or two or three, you will your test will again resume from 15.08 minutes, and the Blue Book app is going to save all of your answers, all of your annotations, all of your work the way it was. There will be absolutely no changes. There will be absolutely no wastage of time, no wastage of energy, which means you have to take your SAT panic free. You are not supposed to panic in the exam if some mishap happens. This is the best part about this Blue Book app. Don't worry if a internet connection drops. Don't worry at all. Don't worry if a system runs out of power. Be cool, be calm, be composed. Whatever has happened, fix that thing, resume your test, and then finish off with your test. This is the best part about this Blue Book app. Okay. One more thing, let's suppose you plan or you decide that you want to take the SAT on your own device, but you want to go to the center and then take the SAT. Then just remember one thing, guys, and that is please carry your charger of whatever device you're carrying. If you're carrying your if you're carrying your laptop, then carry the charger of your laptop. If you're carrying your MacBook, then please do carry chargers of your laptops and MacBook to the exam hall. Another thing is that ensure that please ensure that your device is fully charged before you carry it to the test center. That is again a very important thing. Okay, it may happen that the center may not have too many inputs or outputs for electricity, so that you guys can charge your devices. So yeah, you don't want to fall into that mess, right? So just ensure these couple of things if you want to carry your own devices to the center. Okay. All right, so this is the one of the most important thing about the digital SAT, that you don't have to worry if your internet connection drops. You don't have to worry if a system runs out of the power. So basically, the whole point is wherever you are on the earth, wherever you are on the earth, you can take your SAT. This is the best part about the digital SAT. Now, what are the features of digital SAT? These features we will be discussing these things in detail when I'm going to explain you regarding the Bluebook and Bluebook app. How do you download it, and then what's the interface of the exam going to look like, and all those things. We're going to discuss all those things in detail. But just a couple of things which you need to know. The first feature is you can mark your questions for review, right? So you can flag your questions. So let's suppose you're stuck at some question, you feel that no, I'm going to waste my time on this. Let me solve the other questions first, then I can come back to this question. So you can mark a question for a review and you can move on forward. A timer will be given to you. So on your screen, the timer will be exactly on the center top. Okay, so you're gonna have a timer, and the best part is you can hide the timer, because sometimes students tend to get anxious when they see the clock running. So you can hide your timer, and what's gonna happen is as soon as 5 minutes are gonna left, 5 minutes will be left on your exam. So the timer is going to give you an alert signal that only 5 minutes are left in your respective module, so you need to finish your module fast. Now you will be given a graphing calculator and inbuilt calculator. However, you are also allowed to carry one. So I would actually suggest you to carry your calculators rather than using the inbuilt calculator on the screen. Okay, because carrying your own calculators and then calculating on your own calculator will be quite faster in comparison to the other one which is given to you on the screen. Okay, so carry your approved calculators. Now, a reference sheet for the formulas will be given to you, which will be consisting of the formulas for the maths part. However, like as far as the SAT is concerned, as I've been already telling you guys, that SAT is more about your conceptual understanding and less about like simply using formulas. But anyways, you will be having a list of common formulas. All right. And the next thing is you can do annotations on the screen if you want to underline some part, if you want to mark something for review, if you want to highlight something for your re-examining the question or the statement. So you can do all those things on your screen itself. Okay. All right. And you can like highlight something and then leave a note on top of that. It's like something that how we work in a Word document. So all those things will be given to you. All right. So the wow factor, as I've already told you, you can borrow device from College Board if you want to take SAT on the weekends, because it may happen that probably on the weekends or like whatever the day it is, let's suppose the center is not open, so you can borrow a device from College Board. So this is like another good thing about the digital SAT. And now instead of receiving your scores in like 20-25 days, you will now receive your scores within a week. So probably in a couple of days, you will receive your SAT scores. And the third thing is, instead of the exam being of 3 hours, now your exam will be only of 2 hours and 14 minutes. So initially we used to have 65 minutes for reading, then 35 minutes for writing, then you're gonna have 25 minutes for maths, no calculator, then 55 minutes for maths calculator. So this is like 100 minutes. This is what used to happen, and this is like 80 minutes for a maths part, but now you will only have 2 hours and 14 minutes, right? So this is basically what's going to happen in the exam. So this is about like on a very rudimentary basis, or on from the very scratch, like what's the digital SAT is all about. So there are like two or three main things which you need to understand here, guys. Apart from the fact that they have made the exam much more accessible to the students, but please do understand this one thing. Now this exam is becoming adaptive. Okay, so apart from the fact that now it's reachable to more people, frankly speaking, the exam is going to get bit more difficult. Not bit more, it's going to actually get more difficult than what it used to be, especially the English section. Since I've gone through the questions, I can frankly tell you the difficulty level of the questions has frankly increased for maths, and especially for the English part. Okay, so you do have a lot of available options as how you can take the exam. The number of hours has been increased. Instead of 3 hours, now it's only like 2 hours and 14 minutes. So that's like almost a 30 minutes, 30% reduction as far as the time frame is concerned. You're gonna have less number of questions now, but the difficulty level has actually increased. Okay, this is a really important part. And this adaptive part, if what I'm saying is like, I hope what I'm saying is 100% correct. But if it is not, still it's going to be a difficult exam. Okay, so please prepare yourself very, very, very thoroughly. This is my advice to each and every one of you. It's not going to be easy. Digital SAT, apart from the accessibility, they have actually increased the level of everything else. Okay, they have the only good part about the exam is that they have made it simpler for you to attempt the exam. Attempt in the exams, that it is like accessible. It has got a lot of options and features. But what about the questions? The main question is that what about the difficulty level of the questions? So that they have increased. Okay, so that they have actually increased. Okay, so this is like the very elementary part of the digital SAT which you need to know. Okay, so we will be discussing regarding the Blue Book app also. How can you download the app? How can you use the app? How can you take the official mock test? How you should prepare? We will be discussing. We will also be discussing like couple of questions from the Blue Book app, like what's the syllabus, what are the changes in the syllabus, what are the changes in the types of questions. We will be discussing all those things. Don't worry about any one of them. All right, in the meantime, let's be a bit more serious and let's prepare thoroughly for our next SAT exam. All right, guys, thank you so much, guys. Keep watching and keep learning. If you have any doubts, if you have any queries, if you have any questions, do let us know in the comment box. And in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe the channel for more exams and video related content. And if you're looking for SAT personalized classes, you can always connect with us either through the WhatsApp, or you can give us a call, or you can drop us a mail. Either way it works for us. Alright, guys. Thank you so much. Keep watching and keep learning, guys. Thank you so much.